All right, let's dive right in. We're going to talk about a dynamic in relationships that is just so confusing and frankly so painful. And that's when you're with a partner who just keeps pulling away. Our goal here is to get you from that place of confusion to a place of real connection. It really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? The one that can keep you up at night. Things feel like they're going so well. You're building something real, you're getting closer, and then bam, it's like a wall comes up. They're gone. Maybe not physically, but emotionally, they've checked out. So what on earth is going on?
Let's see if any of this sounds painfully familiar. You try to bring up a problem, and nothing. Just silence. Or maybe it feels like the more you lean in, the more they lean out. They just seem so cold, kind of detached, almost like they don't really care. And oh man, that feeling when things are going great and then out of nowhere, they just slam on the brakes? If you're nodding along, you know exactly what we're talking about.
And the toll this takes, wow, it's just brutal. It can leave you feeling completely powerless, right? You start questioning everything you do, everything you say, thinking, was it me? What did I do wrong? It's a cycle that can make you feel so deeply and fundamentally unloved.
Now, it's really tempting to hear all this and just want to slap a label on it. Oh, they have an avoidant attachment style. And look, that can be a helpful starting point, for sure. But we have to go beyond these simple definitions if we want to find any real, genuine understanding.
I mean, listen to this quote. It's so true. People are way too complex for that. Trying to define a whole person with one little pop psychology label, it's not just simplistic, it can actually stop us from seeing the real human being who's right there in front of us.
And that's the real trap, isn't it? When we're hurting, we just want a fast answer, something that makes the chaos make sense. And a label can feel like a huge relief, like, aha, I figured it out. But often, that relief just masks what's really going on. The truth is, we have to go deeper.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's pull back the curtain for a minute and really try to get a glimpse of what's happening inside their head. What is driving this behavior that feels so rejecting from the outside?
And this right here, this is the huge mental shift we have to make. This behavior, it isn't about a lack of love. It's a protective shell. It's a fortress they've built because of past pain. That coldness you feel, that indifference, it's really just a disguise, a painful one.
And their number one tool for keeping that fortress up is usually silence. But here's the thing you have to understand. In psychology, the act of ignoring someone, of giving them that silent treatment,
is seen as the ultimate form of invalidation. It's a powerful, unspoken message that says, you don't matter. Your feelings don't matter enough for me to even engage. It's so much more than just a lack of talking. It's like an invisible weapon.
And this is exactly why the silent treatment can feel so much worse than a screaming match. I mean, think about it. An argument, even a nasty one, is still a connection. You're both in it. You can see their emotions, the issue is on the table, but silence? That's a total shutdown. It's an invisible wall that just leaves you feeling completely erased. It's no wonder a fight can sometimes feel better than that.
Okay, so we get the problem. We understand why it hurts so much. But what do we do about it? What's the actual game plan here? Let's talk about a real, practical path toward building safety and trust.
First off, we've got to realize this isn't always a conscious choice they're making. The best way to think about it is like an ostrich sticking its head in the sand. When something feels threatening, and intimacy can feel very threatening, their instinct to pull away is just an automatic subconscious reaction. It's driven by fear.
So the new approach here is really a two-step process. First, we have to find a way to gently, and I mean gently, help them see the fear that's actually driving them. A lot of the time, they don't even know why they do it. And second, once that awareness is there, we have to patiently, methodically build a totally new foundation of trust.
But okay, how in the world do you build trust with somebody whose every instinct is telling them to run away from closeness? Well, there's a really powerful way to think about this. You approach them like a stray cat. Seriously, think about it. A stray cat has probably been hurt, right? It's skittish. It's wary. If you charge at it with your arms wide open, yelling, "Let me love you," what's it going to do? It's going to bolt. It doesn't trust your intentions, even if they're good.
So, the first rule, the absolute golden rule, is this. You have to prove that you are safe. Before anything else, before you can get any closer, they need to believe deep down that you are not a threat.
So how do we actually do that? Well, instead of demanding answers like, "Why are you shutting me out?" you use softer, confirming questions. You just reflect what you see. Something like, Hey, it seems like talking about this is really hard for you. Is that right? See how that's not an attack? It shows you're trying to understand the fear underneath. And this is huge. When they give you even a tiny little bit, a small step forward, you notice it, you acknowledge it. And yeah, you have to be patient. This is not an overnight fix.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important and hopeful piece of this whole puzzle. And that's understanding what they secretly, desperately want. This is the big, counterintuitive secret. I want you to really let this sink in. Despite all the evidence to the contrary, the distance, the coldness, their desire for the relationship to work, to be safe and loving, is just as strong as yours. It might even be stronger.
And here's the wild paradox. It is precisely because they don't have that sense of safety inside themselves that they crave it so intensely from someone else. They're searching for this perfect, safe harbor in a relationship because they don't have one internally. The thing they want the most is the thing that terrifies them.
And that is why there's so much room for hope here. Because when they finally feel safe enough to let that protective shell down, when you prove that you are that safe harbor, the change can be just incredible. It's like a spring that's been coiled way too tight, finally being allowed to release.
So as we finish up here, if you take one thing away for yourself from all this, please let it be this. You have to know this in your bones. Their fear, their walls, their avoidance, it is not your fault. It's a pattern that started a long time before you ever came into the picture.
And that leaves us with one final question to just sit with. I want you to think about this. What if you reframe this whole experience? What if their distance isn't a rejection of you at all, but a desperate, unspoken cry for a kind of safety they've never had? Thanks for joining me.